Hello, I hope you're doing well today. We're here with another review. Today we're taking a look at the Storm Arena Koaru Hanayama as he appears in Baki Hanma, Son of Ogre, which I guess is one of the more recent Baki movies or shows. I don't know. I don't really keep up with Baki too much, and this is the only Baki figure that I own. I dabble, but I'm not an expert or anything. So it'll be interesting to see how quality carries over in a Storm Arena figure from properties from like Street Fighter over to Baki here. Before we take a look at the figure itself, we're going to go ahead and look at the packaging, which shares a lot of sentiments with the Street Fighter Alpha packaging from Storm Arena. We've got a window here, figure, you can see all he comes with, some plastic that kind of obscures what you're looking at. We got a big image in the bottom right hand corner that kind of covers up a big portion of the window. This time it's a picture of the figure instead of some artwork. Title there. Here on the side we've got image of the figure, and then figure in various poses here, and that's all the same. So now that we've taken a look at the package, we're going to go ahead and crack it open and see what this guy comes with. Alright, here we have Hanayama out of the package here. You may have noticed over the past few reviews I just take the figure out of the tray. I was just keeping the figure in the tray with the accessories and taking the accessories out. A lot of these trays don't hold the accessories very well. They just all fall out, so I thought I'll just go ahead and take the accessories and the figure out already. The first thing we're going to check out here for Hanayama's accessories is his alternate head sculpt, which is kind of like his angry battle face, and I think it looks very nice. It's got that really over-the-top Baki styling to it. You can go ahead and see all the details, all of the wrinkles, and the way his facial muscles kind of contort and reshape. We've got the whited out eyes that look very menacing and grimacing teeth, and we can see the scars all over his face there. It's kind of got his hair here, so I think that looks very nice. It's all kind of done like with a matte finish. Nothing is shiny or anything. We've got import level quality here. While we're on the subject of heads, we're going to go ahead and bring this guy over here and take a look at his glasses accessories. So like Charlie, this guy came with a pair of glasses. I think they're very well done. You can see the eyes of the figure very clearly behind the lenses, which is nice. You don't see that much in action figures. I think the little I'm a glasses wearer, I should know what it's called, but the little pieces that go off to the side they might be a little bit oversized if you size this guy up. I don't know. I don't think it kills the look or anything. I like having these glasses. I think they're really nice, and they are a signature thing for Koaru. Again, I've watched a little bit of the show. I've watched more of the early 2000s one because I wanted to go chronologically, but it's hard to find full episodes of that on YouTube. Here we have kind of an open hand. It could almost be like a grasping hand here, and it's all well detailed. We can see we've got some nice like painted scars throughout the hand, and we got some little wrinkles in the fingers and nails there. We can see the tendons in his hands and all of the creases. And these, like the Street Fighter figures, are kind of a nice softer plastic, makes them easy to change out. They're nice and pliable. We get two hands for holding his glasses, just a little pinching. Charlie, if you remember, he only came with, I think, glasses hands for his right hand. This guy gets both two hands for it. And they're nicely done. It kind of looks like mine is the index finger and the thumb are connected. I wonder if that's... yeah. The index finger and the thumb are connected on this guy. Maybe I'll try it out to see how that affects holding the glasses. I know on Charlie, a problem with him, those fingers for him was his fingers weren't connected and they wouldn't hold the glasses tightly, so maybe this was their way of fixing that. So we'll see how that works. And then we also have a gripping hand here. still well detailed. Got all the scars and such. And the fingers are pliable, so he can probably grab onto a lot more stuff, fit more stuff into his hands. And then lastly, we have this nice big effect part that's it next to the figure. Size-wise, it's out of focus, I know, but yeah. And it's this nice transparent plastic, and it looks good. And this is for his diabolical haymakers that he throws. So that's a look at all of the accessories there. We're going to go ahead and get all of these off of the screen and take a look at the figure itself. Before we look too closely at Hanayama himself, we're going to get some ideas about how he scales. We're going to get the tape measure out and get a height measurement on this guy. This guy stands about just shy of 6.5 inches. So scaling is kind of a thing for this line. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it's shrunken down from something like the Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha line, where I think that if the scale of the Baki figures was going to be consistent with the Street Fighter figures, I would imagine Hanayama would be a lot closer in height to something like Sagat here, rather than being maybe this close in height to someone like Ryu. I know that it's kind of weird because, like, I know that the character of Baki himself is supposed to be shorter than Ryu as well, but so I think maybe the scale of Baki himself works with the Street Fighter figures, but then the other Storm Arena Baki figures like Hanayama and Yujiro, I think might have been undersized. So that's something that fans have kind of complained about with this line, I think. Here we have Hanayama next to Gamerverse Captain America, and I mean, they're like the same height. And so I would say that like something like the Marvel Legends is supposed to scale with the Storm Arena. So I think Hanayama should have been more like Sagat's size if they were trying to create a consistent scale across brands. So I don't think they were doing that. I think they just decided its own scale for the Baki line. Last figure I'm going to break out is the DC Universe Classics The Question, and so yeah, I think that just like, I don't think Hanayama should be shorter than Captain America or The Question. So I think that the Baki line in Storm Arena just has a scale of its own. So now that we've taken a look at all that he scales with, where you can finally pinch in and look at the figure himself. First thing we're going to note is his head sculpt, which is, again, nicely detailed. Here we've got his more stern, stoic face. I don't know how his character develops across Baki lore, but in the beginning he's a lot more quiet, reserved character, holding back a lot of anger. So we can kind of see that stern look there. It looks really nice. We got all these detailed, like these over-exaggerated facial muscles. Looks really neat. And we got the scars on his face. Let's see if I can. Ooh. I don't know if it's easy to really tell, but the eyes are nicely painted. It's got some little extra brown detail in there. So I think that all looks really good. We got a big, nice, thick neck that's wider than his head. That's all part of that Baki proportioning. You love it or you hate it. Moving down to the suit, I think it's well done. It's his signature white suit, purple shirt, purple pocket square there. He's got a little gold pin there that's nicely painted, and all the buttons are this nice gold that are painted. He's got shading throughout on places like his sleeves and wrinkling everywhere that I think looks really nice. I think, yeah, and then we got some more on the back, some seams and some more buttons on the back of his wrist. Then we got these really baggy suit pants that I think work. the knees are kind of obvious. It's not the best looking thing. And then the thigh cut here is getting more egregious. Look at just how much that thigh cut there flares out to the sides versus like the Storm Arena Ryu, first one they did, where that thigh was nice and flush with the hip part, and so you can barely, I mean, like, the thigh cut is a lot less obvious, but then you look at how obvious it is on this guy, how much it like comes out, and it's for no reason. It is for no reason. I can't think of what purpose that serves. So it does not look good. I don't think the legs look just fantastic. I mean, part of that is the baggy pants, and there's not much you can do. They probably could move to maybe a single jointed knee that might look better, but they definitely need to make the pants more flush with the hip. So moving down, the pants kind of flare out some more. He's almost got like boot cut suit pants. And as we can see, he's got his cowboy boots here, and they're kind of done in this like pearly white paint. And we can see the kind of the leather detailing. I guess they're snake skin or maybe alligator skin. And it's kind of a softer sculpt, but it's fine. And then the bottoms are painted gray, a dark gray. So overall, I think the aesthetic is nice. I think they did what they could to mix the articulation with the suit body. I think that the torso and the shoulders look fine enough, especially if you try to pull the shoulders in a bit more. He does kind of have, I don't know if this is accurate to the show. I'd have to go look at some Hanayama art. He does kind of have like hips that are wider than his chest, and that's not the best look. The way they would want to do it, and I mean like the Street Fighter figures did it this way, is you can really see how the shoulders are wider than the hips, the chest is wider than the hips, it tapers. He's got a thinner body beneath his gi here. It kind of gives him a more athletic, more dynamic look. This guy looks kind of frumpy, maybe a little fat because of the way they did it. It tapers in, which is good, but then it comes back out. So that's not really how a suit coat fits unless it's like perfectly tailored to somebody with a big midsection. So I don't know. I think that putting him in some poses will help mend that. So we're going to go ahead and check out how he poses. Starting with the neck or head, we're on a double ball peg here. The head pops off very easily. It's a blessing and a curse. Good for swapping out, but not always great for posing. So Hanayama here can look up that far. There's not really anybody I can think of him looking up to. For reference, that is neutral. And then looking down, he looks down far enough, and that is something that will be more appropriate for him. It's hard to tell that the neck is on a joint as well, honestly, which is good. So I was kind of incorporating a bit of the neck into that too, I think, maybe. Using the neck, yeah, no, it wasn't. He can look down a lot more, using the neck to look back. There. He gets some good side to side on just the head alone. But then incorporating that neck in there, yeah, he gets some good lean. He can have some attitude there. So that works. Looking now at the shoulders, we've got the ball sockets that allow him on the inside that bring it back and forth and up and down. So bringing them forward, we've got our signature soft chest piece. Comes forward that much, and it kind of creates this winged look. We'll go ahead and bring his arms out. See what that crossover is like. Not great. Here's the issue. They have these caps here that stretch out past the shoulder, and that limits like his coming out right. going forward range. So you have to rotate the entire cap with the shoulder if you're wanting to get a true idea of how much crossover he can get, I think. Maybe. So, I mean, you can touch them together, but I don't know. It doesn't look like he's getting much crossover. Okay. Yeah. You got to rotate those caps too. And then that's about how much crossover he's going to get. So, raising the arm up, independent of that shoulder piece, he gets about 90, and then you can raise it up a little bit past 90. So that's good. We've got our bicep swivel here. We've got our double jointed elbow. Everything is nice and smooth out of the packaging. I haven't posed this guy around at all. Moving down to the wrist, we've got our ball hinge wrists. The sleeve cuffs don't allow for a crazy amount of range, but we can get what we need. Here we go. Okay, maybe they do. Maybe I'm just lying. A lot of this, this is my first time messing with the figure, so I'm just speaking out loud, thinking out loud. So it's nice we got the cuffs of his shirt coming out of the bottom of his coat. Moving down to the torso, we're going to mess around with this top joint here. Leaning the upper body back. The sculpt of his coat is continued up underneath, and we've got some extra buttons under there that you wouldn't even know about. It's a little bit funky. You'd have to rotate it for it to kind of make sense, honestly, because if you just push it straight back, now he's got two things there. That doesn't look right. But bringing him forward. Let's see if I can do this without messing any paint up. Just on that top joint, and that's what he's getting, which is pretty good. Out to the side, just on the top joint. Just on the top joint is not much at all. So let's incorporate that bottom joint in. Going down, that's a lot better. I'm a bit scatterbrained today. Then leaning back that much. So, and out to the side that much. So, long way of saying it's okay. Beneath, it's all nice and soft here, and actually, okay, look at this. You can even unbutton this button here and get a look at the body underneath. I don't think that really serves any purpose. There's not like anything under it like Ryu. He's just got this core piece here, but he doesn't have any chest under the jacket up here. So you could do that. It's not really a reason to. Maybe it'll help with posability if you're trying to move him around some ways. But all right, moving down to the hips, we've got our Storm Arena ball socket hips with drop down feature. So the drop down doesn't actually do very much. Kicking forward, it's got a softer diaper piece, so he can get 90 there. And he was actually kind of twisting out as it got 90. Going out to the side. Okay, I think that this button unbuttons to allow the coat to give more range to the hips is what that's for. So let's just go ahead and... You're really stretching the coat out when you move these hips out, so do be mindful what you're doing here. So he can practically get full splits, and that looks nice enough. Just know that you're messing with a lot of his inner workings as far as the coat goes by doing that. Down here we've got our thigh swivel that moves nicely. Our unnecessarily ugly thigh swivel. Here we've got some double jointed knees that are very something. It definitely takes up a lot of space there. It's not really what a knee looks like. It would look a lot more natural. Bringing the bend down to here, I think that the pants would look better if it was just a single joint, honestly. But I don't know, some people may want that extra mobility. And then the Baki figures, that's just the way they're drawn. The lower legs are a bit long. You can't really tell on this guy because he's wearing pants, but it's really obvious on someone like Baki. Down here we've got our ball hinge ankles, and he can point his toe down nice and far. Not up very much because of his pants here. And then we don't get much pivot there, again, because of his pants. We've got our toe hinge that's nice and stiff, and that'll do. So, posability on this guy, I wouldn't say it's anything crazy. He should be able to do what you need him to do. Hanayama is not one to, from what I've seen of the show, he's not one to do a bunch of crazy fighting moves, at least not in this suit. He usually just absorbs the punches of his enemies until he's built up enough power to just knock them out with one punch. I know that there's a version of Hanayama out there that people want that doesn't have the suit. He had, where he's kind of in his, I don't want to call it a diaper and be culturally insensitive or anything, but it's almost like a sumo wrapping around his crotch area, and then he's got his trademark tattoo on his back that he's known for. I think people would have preferred maybe a figure of that versus this, but this is still nice. I would argue that this is more of what you see him wearing in the show, maybe, from what I've seen of it. So, overall, I think that this guy is a worthy pickup. Hanayama's a cool character. He was $30 at Big Bad Toy Store, which I think is well worth the price. They're offering a lot of value for their figures. Hopefully the price can stay that low. He is in stock at the time of me filming this. This is the third figure in their Storm Arena Baki line, and there are two more, and they are also both acquirable at the Big Bad Toy Store. I haven't decided whether or not to pick up the other ones. If I'm not a huge Baki fan, if I did, it would be for like scaling purposes, to have a Baki figure to put up against figures that I review and probably don't keep. I'll say he is in stock right now, but he's a figure that is sold out on pre-order twice. I think the Baki figures of Baki himself have been running on the first batch still, but Yujiro has sold out and Hanayama here is sold out twice. So maybe they've got a steady flow of them now, but if you're interested in this guy, I'd recommend going ahead and picking him up. That's what I did. So that's all I have to say about that. Be sure to check out my shorts that I do every single day, where I take a look at one figure in my collection every single day briefly until I've looked at everything I owned. That will continue to transpire over the next couple months, Lord willing. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.